What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the man that always puts clam chowder in his pants, just that here. As you can see, I'm finally back at my computer so I can make some more high quality content. Now, like, every time when I go to my friend's house, he usually gives me some kind of spicy anime to watch. Now, if my friend was here right now, he would have told me that, spicy was a little too zesty, or zesty. I don't know what the fuck it is. Anyway, I was sitting there on my friend's couch, and he decided to pop on Berserk, the anime. And he was sitting here telling me the lore of it, and how he bought this, like, manga book for it. And then he started talking about the shitty anime that they had for it. Like, there's this one scene in this, like, really shitty anime that, like, has it where his sword sounds like a fucking pan. It's fucking stupid.
Be called a sword. It was larger, thicker, heavier, and cruder than any normal blade.
Seriously though, I've watched that video so many times I can't find the differences. Anyway, Berserk 2016 sucked more harder than sucking concrete through a fucking plastic straw. The art was bad, the sound design was bad, everything about this thing was just bad. I would rather dress up into a bee costume, go into Walmart, and say publicly out loud that I have worms in my ass than watch Berserk 2016. But today we're not talking about Berserk 2016. We're going to be talking about the better anime for Berserk. So I'm going to just speed through the storyline so we could just talk about it. But our main protagonist is a guy named Guts. Now you're probably wondering, how did he get the name Guts? Well, it's let me just draw it for you. So pretty much why they call him Guts is Guts' mom, if I'm right. I mean, I might be wrong, so you know, anybody that knows it a lot better, you know, please explain it. His mother was hanged, right? And this guy or some shit cut her belly open, and all her entrails went out, leaving a baby behind. And that baby was named Guts. That's the whole story of his name. And what a fitting name that was, because all he does is causes mayhem on the battlefield. Like, if he was playing Call of Duty, he would have got a nuclear 10 times over. Anyway, pretty much after this battle, he meets up with a guy named Griffith, which is like the leader of the Hawks. And Griffith kind of understands that Guts is a unstoppable killing machine. So Griffith's pretty much like, dude, we totally need you to like help us on the battlefield because you're a badass killing machine. And Guts is kind of like, nah, fuck that. I'm not serving under you. I don't kneel to no man. So he pretty much gets in this argument, and it kind of becomes this whole sword duel. And the whole point of it is if Griffith wins, then he gets to keep Guts and he has to join the Hawks. And if Guts wins, he can just leave. Couple sword fights later, pretty much Guts gets pinned by Griffith and Guts has to join the Hawks. But pretty much after this day, he pretty much adapts to the Hawks and is best friends with Griffith. And after a while, it seems like Guts has something more to believe in than just senseless violence. Because before the Hawks, he was just mainly a merc, pretty much. They also have a female warrior called Kasuka that's always envious to Guts, pretty much, because she wants to be Griffith's right-hand man, and not Guts. And the reason she joined the band of the Hawks, it's because Griffith pretty much saved her from almost being P. Diddy'd, and Griffith pretty much said, if you don't want to be P. Diddy, grab the sword. She grabbed the sword and pretty much killed the guy that was trying to P. Diddy her. And ever since then, she's always kind of admired like Griffith's dream, and ever since then, she became a captain of the Hawks. But after a while, the band of the Hawks gets noticed that they're undefeated, and pretty much the king sees this and they want to use the band of the Hawks to fight all their wars. Griffith becomes really tight with the king's daughter, and the king doesn't really like this because I think he's low-key trying to groom his daughter. I think it's somewhere in the manga, and they kind of mention it in the anime. But either way, the king is kind of low-key mad that Griffith wants to play Legos with the king's daughter. Pretty much every battle it's been against man versus man. But there was one battle in particular where they fight a demon, And it's pretty much revealed that Griffith has this weird charm on his neck, and Griffith starts talking to Guts about this charm that he's got, which he got from a fortune teller. All he really knows about it is whoever owns this charm pretty much rules the world, and Griffith pretty much carries it around as kind of like a good luck charm. But like nobody notices it yet, but like the charm is like actually alive, like the eyes move on it. But pretty much Griffith kind of has this dream of being like a king, pretty much. He just wants power. But after all the fighting and stuff, the Band of the Hawk is like this close to being like noblemen's. And this is what Griffith wants because he's been playing the chess game this whole time trying to get that power. But anyway, Griffith and the Band of the Hawks are this close to being noblemen's until Griffith drops the ball and pretty much says his whole intentions to the princess. And Guts pretty much overhears it. Pretty much Griffith says that the Band of the Hawk is just a tool to pursue his dream. Nothing more, nothing less. They're not his friends. They're not equal to him. He's just using them to get power pretty much. And Guts pretty much gets really pissed off that he's not equal to Griffith, to the point that he leaves the Band of the Hawks and to pursue his own dream. But before he tries to leave, Griffith pretty much does another sword duel, because if you don't remember, Griffith pretty much owns him. But this time around, Guts is pretty much more stronger and he's able to defeat Griffith. Pretty much Guts wins his freedom back, and this causes Griffith to be so fucking pissed, to the point where this complex plan that he had, he just throws it in the fucking dumpster pile, goes to the princess, claps her cheeks. The king hears about this and he wants Griffith arrested. They found Griffith, they arrest him, and they torture him for about a year. And the Band of the Hawk, instead of being noblemen's, they're pretty much being hunted down by the king. Anyway, Casca becomes pretty much like the new leader of the Band of the Hawk. Anyway, a year passes and Guts comes back to the Band of the Hawk. It kind of reminds me of like how CJ kind of left Grove Street and then he came back and like Sweet's like really pissed off at him that he left. Pretty much what happens here. Casca's really pissed at Guts that he left. Griffith's pretty much in prison. Casca almost kills herself because of it. So Guts and Casca pretty much argue for a little bit, and then before you know it, they're making sweet, sweet love making. Now, even if I could show you, I know YouTube would probably hang me from the YouTube logo. So I'm going to show you a simulation of The Rock banging two Family Guy figures together to get the point across. And it's during this love making between Guts and Casca that we learn a little bit more about Guts. Because he goes instantly ape shit and tries to choke Casca. He pretty much has this like PTSD moment, pretty much where he was talking about he got sold and he got P. Diddy'd, and where he killed the guy that P. Diddy'd him. I was gonna keep this at the very end so I could just talk about everything in all one swoop, but I just want to go ahead and talk about it now. This right here is what makes Guts a fucking great character, because when you first start it, you see Guts and you think he's a unstoppable killing machine that has no emotion. But in actuality, he's just a guy that's just trying to find meaning in a world that's always against him. And instead of looking at him as this cold-blooded weapon of mass destruction, you look at him more as a person that's just been wronged by others. And after a while, you really want to root for this guy because his whole life is just shit. Anyway, after all this happens, this Skull Knight ghost pretty much appears and tells Guts that there's going to be more bloodshed in the future. But pretty much after this, Guts rejoins the Hawks to pretty much go find Griffith. They find Griffith in a dingy ass dungeon, like face down on the floor, looking like a piece of beef jerky, where he was tortured for about a year. Griffith is so mad at Guts to the point he uses the last little bit of strength he has just to try to choke out Guts. The guy who tortured him, which I swear to God looks like Muscle Man had sex with a dolphin, he pretty much goes into great detail on how he tortured Griffith. This guy went so far enough that he cut Griffith's tongue so he can't speak no more. But after killing the guy that's been torturing him for about a year, and, you know, wiping out all the king's guards, they're able to escape with Griffith. The Band of the Hawks pretty much just trying to figure out how they're gonna move past this. Guts wants to stay, but Casca tells him that it's probably best that he left and to pursue his own dream. Until Griffith overhears this and tries to escape by wagon. He crashes the wagon and kind of lands in this kind of shallow lake. He broke his arm in the process, and he's almost at this point in his character that he's almost about to give up until he finds his charm again in the water. Right when he realizes it's his own charm, the Band of the Hawk's already right behind him. And also Guts. As this is happening, blood like seeps into the charm, and it activates this fucking eclipse mode that not only warps him to another dimension, but also everybody that was in the Band of the Hawk. It wrapped up Casca, it wrapped up Guts, it wrapped up everyone. This is about the time when the charm is actually explained and what it actually is. But I already feel like I spoiled a lot already, so I'm gonna keep that a little secret. You have to watch what it does. But to make this really quick, Griffith pretty much sacrifices the Band of the Hawk to be reborn again, pretty much. Everybody gets branded with the mark of sacrifice, and everybody in the Band of the Hawk is pretty much killed off, except Guts and Casca. Griffith is practically reborn again, and he kind of like a weird hawk demon prince hybrid. And what I saw next, I was completely shocked. I saw Griffith pretty much P. Diddying Casca, and I'm like, my mouth is fucking open. I'm like, what the fuck? And when I say this one thing, I am dead fucking serious. It was this close to being a hentai. Even if I could show it, I don't think I really would show it. It's that graphic. I just don't understand what's the end game of this. Like, why do this? Because all it does is make him look like a hypocrite. Anyway, Guts starts to get pissed. He starts to almost start running at Griffith until like a demon like grabs his arm and he's got his arm in a lock. And this is like the first time I think I've seen Guts actually powerless. This guy has probably wiped out 1,000 men by now. But like, when it comes to these like supernatural demons or whatever, like he almost seems like he's just a little ant. And I shit you not, Guts gets so fucking pissed that he starts trying to break the demon with the fucking sword, and the sword breaks. He takes the broken sword and just jabs into his arm until his arm breaks off. He is so desperate to go beat the shit out of Griffith, to the point he's willing to cut his own arm off just to get to him. He also loses an eye too, by the way. So Guts still tries to run after Griffith, but unfortunately Griffith is just too powerful for Guts. And that's kind of when the Skull Knight kind of comes in and kind of saves Gus and Casca. After the whole fight, Guts starts having these bad dreams because he lost a lot of friends. Like, the Hawk is like no more. Like, there's like no more Hawks. All the other bands of the Hawk got eaten by demons. The only ones that made it out alive out of the eclipse was Gus and Casca. But pretty much after this, Casca was just not the same person anymore. Where she saw all her friends get eaten, her best friend P. Diddying her in front of her lover. Like, after the whole eclipse thing, she kind of turns into an infant due to like all the just stress and trauma from it. And the shitty part about it is both of them are pretty much cursed. So no matter what, he's already fucked. And due to being cursed, he's gotta constantly fight demons now. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, but the way I heard from the manga and from my friend is the Skull Knight's pretty much there to teach Guts on how to fight demons and shit. This is pretty much my conclusion of Berserk. This is fucking awesome. I really liked the anime so much that I am almost hell-bent to read the manga. Like, I need to know what happens, because season 1 of that anime leaves on a huge cliffhanger, and they're not gonna make a season 2. I know it's gonna get worse from here, because I know it doesn't end great for Guts, but I at least need to know, does he kick Griffith's ass before he kicks the bucket? Because what Griffith did was absolute dickery. He got what he wanted, but he seriously fucked everybody over, man. My last thoughts, very unique anime. You really need to, like, I would say, like, watch the anime, but I feel like not even me saying it does it justice. I feel like this is one of those, like, things that you have to read the manga to, like, actually understand it. And that's really what I want to do next. But other than that, like, comment, subscribe, skiddly boppity boop, I'm out.